on trial accused of physically and sexually assaulting group home residents takes the stand. What she says about the allegations. A mother's plea for answers, what she wants to know about her daughter's death. And celebrating a century, a Saskatchewan woman shares her story.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. A Saskatchewan mother is pushing for answers tonight, urging anyone with information about her daughter's death to come forward. As CTV's Laura Woodward reports, it marks 2 years since her body was found. And a warning, this story contains some information that could be disturbing to some people.
Yeah, this is Candy.
It's a painful anniversary for Lorna Mitchell. 2 years ago, she was notified by police that her 44-year-old daughter, Candy Pritchard, was killed.
She was chopped up, and whoever did that to her, they threw all her parts in a bush.
Pritchard's remains were found on February 5th, 2024, outside a home on Red Pheasant Cree Nation. Police later found additional evidence in a nearby wooded area. No charges have been laid.
It's kind of scary not knowing, that nobody's getting arrested. It's been 2 years, and it's kind of scary. Maybe you're passing by them in some grocery store or Walmart,
Mitchell is pleading for answers.
Whoever knows something, please come forward. Or if you witness this, please come forward, and so we can have justice for her and we can have peace. I hardly ever sleep.
Even the smallest detail could help move the case forward. RCMP do believe there are people out there that know something. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or anonymously submit a tip through Crime Stoppers. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Police are investigating a suspicious death in Prince Albert. RCMP say a person was found dead at a property on 41st Street East yesterday, and after preliminary information was gathered, their homicide investigation unit took the lead on the investigation, with city police helping. No other details about the death are being released at this time, as police are still working to identify the victim. An autopsy is scheduled for the coming days. RCMP have released video of a side-by-side they believe is connected to a homicide in northern Saskatchewan that prompted a dangerous persons alert. They've released this surveillance footage of the vehicle captured the morning of December 30th on the Big Island Lake Cree Nation. Just after 5 o'clock that morning, RCMP received multiple reports about gunshots in the community. Officers found 2 youth who had been shot, their injuries considered serious. 2 men were also found suffering from gunshot wounds. One of them, a 31-year-old, died of his injuries. The investigation has determined the youth were shot by suspects on this side-by-side. They believe the shootings were connected, but haven't determined if they were targeted or random. Anyone who recognizes the side-by-side or knows who was on it should contact RCMP. An inquest into the death of an inmate at Saskatchewan Penitentiary began this morning in Prince Albert. As Jasmine Pelche reports, investigators initially suspected his death was a homicide.
On November 28, 2022, 28-year-old Brandon Lukowski was found unresponsive in his cell at Saskatchewan Penitentiary. Resuscitation efforts by EMS were unsuccessful. An inquest into his death has begun at the Coronet Hotel in Prince Albert. The jury has been tasked with determining the cause of death as well as making any recommendations to prevent similar deaths in the future. On Tuesday, the jury heard from 3 RCMP members who were involved with the initial investigation into Lukowski's death. One member stated the investigation was treated as a homicide from the onset, but that upon further investigation, evidence suggested Lukowski's injuries may have been self-inflicted. Prior to the discovery of Lukowski, inmates had been permitted to leave their cells within the range area. A member of the RCMP's Homicide Investigation Unit said teams were tasked with interviewing inmates within the range. The correctional officer who found Lukowski following the incident testified that he was found on the floor in his cell and blood was present. Prior to the discovery, the cell door had been covered with a privacy blanket. The correctional officer said they had not been informed that Lukowski had mental health struggles. There are a total 16 scheduled witnesses. The inquest is scheduled to continue until Friday. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Jeff, another melty kind of day today.
Yeah, it was. Temperatures were once again above seasonal, basically in the Saskatoon area around the 0-degree mark in terms of an afternoon high temperature. But throughout the province, mild conditions prevailing. We had some areas got a little bit of sunshine. I know Saskatoon certainly did. So all in all, a pretty warm, or at least a mild day by, mid-February standards. But we're keeping our eye on some of that Pacific air making its way across the province. I'm not expecting a lot in the way of active weather, but slowly but surely this cold Arctic air is moving down. It's not going to hammer us, but it is going to get colder, and we'll talk about those numbers later on.
A woman accused of abusing residents of a group home took the stand in her own defense today. Stacey Hine on what she said about the allegations and what's next in the case.
Jacqueline Elias took the stand as the sole defense witness in her trial, denying all allegations against her. The 38-year-old is charged with multiple counts of assault and sexual assault, as well as one count of sexual assault with a weapon and uttering threats. The Crown alleges the incidents occurred between January 2023 and February 2024 and involved 4 residents at a group home in Wilkie. The identities of the residents are protected by a publication ban. Court heard the residents were nonverbal, used wheelchairs, and required assistance with personal care, including feeding, bathing, and changing. During her testimony, Elias was questioned about several allegations raised during the trial. One former co-worker alleged Elias put a washcloth in a resident's mouth to stop them from drooling. Elias denied the claim, testifying the resident frequently bit her own hand, causing a wound. Elias said she loosely tied a washcloth around the resident's hand, and on one occasion, the resident put the cloth in her mouth, which Elias said she tried to remove. Former co-workers also accused Elias of putting her breasts in a resident's face. Elias denied doing so intentionally, saying she may have accidentally brushed a resident while assisting them, noting her short stature at 4 feet and 10 inches. Elias also denied putting her fingers in a resident's mouth, covering a resident's mouth and telling him he would die, or using a stick to poke a resident in the groin. She acknowledged calling one resident a, quote, pervert, saying it was a running joke amongst staff. During cross-examination, Elias was asked if she thought it was inappropriate to call a resident a pervert while he was present. Elias eventually responded, probably not. A date for closing arguments has yet to be set. Stacey Hine, CTV News, the Battlefords.
Support workers and maintenance staff at Saskatoon Catholic schools are considering job action. CUPE 2268 and 3730 members representing educational assistants, library workers, maintenance, and other support staff in Greater Saskatoon Catholic schools voted in favor of strike action. The vote was held over the weekend with 90% of those who cast their ballots supporting job action. Both unions recently reached an impasse in bargaining over wages. A spokesperson says neither local is in a legal strike position and both groups are prepared to return to the bargaining table at any time. In a statement, Greater Saskatoon Catholic Schools says it respects the process and will continue to work with CUPE toward agreements that enhance compensation for staff and are fiscally responsible for the publicly funded organization. A rally for better supports for education today.
Darn, locked out again. Locked out again.
Out in the cold.
Yeah.
Members of the CUPE Saskatchewan Education Workers Steering Committee gathered outside of MLA Ken Shoveldayoff's office today. The group arrived with valentines that had messages calling for the province to make meaningful commitments in public education in the upcoming budgets. The province says the school divisions are receiving a record $2.4 billion in operating funding in 2025-26 and says it will continue to work with school divisions to ensure daily operations and student needs are met. A Saskatchewan child care centre that supports medically fragile children is closing down its Warman operations. Hope's Home provides medical support and child care for kids with specialized needs. Recently sent a letter to families informing them of the news. It said the Warman location would close on June 26th. The charity says the decision was not made lightly and is the result of a drop in demand in Warman and the loss of an on-site nursing program. Hope's Home in Warman is located at a local elementary school and says it will work with the local school division and potential new operators with the goal of keeping those childcare spaces in the community. Hope's Home also has locations in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and Regina. As Saskatchewan producers focus on the next crop, the industry is looking at ways to retain and recruit young people. Damien Smith on efforts to bring in the next generation.
As Saskatchewan producers prepare for the upcoming growing season, Farm Credit Canada is looking to recruit the next generation at the Young Farmers Summit.
The real point of today's summit is to bring together that next generation and arm them with knowledge about how they can, run the business.
In southwestern Saskatchewan, Kennedy McNeil is seeing some younger generations take over the family farms.
You're always hearing we need more agriculture people, we need competent, we need them to understand what's going on, and that it's a financial risk for someone to be in $1 million combine when they don't know what they're doing or if they're not competent enough.
In the 2021 Census of Agriculture, 3 in 5 farmers are noted to be over the age of 55. Meanwhile, 1 in 10 farmers are under the age of 35. This signals that the industry is tending to skew towards the older age.
The next generation has different aspirations, and they have different dreams and stuff that maybe don't involve the farm.
My own dad and my mom keep saying to me, you don't want to be an ag, it's so stressful. So I understand that those farmers' kids were told that probably too, like it's so stressful, you don't understand the debt you're in.
The summit is focusing on entrepreneurship as well as mental health.
Let's face it, as an agriculture producer, we're dealing with a lot right now.
Cynthia Beck is a co-founder of Sask Ag Matters, a non-for-profit that helps agricultural workers with their mental health.
That a lot of times when people are reaching out for help, they have reached a point where they are feeling hopeless and they feel ineffective in finding solutions to help themselves for the betterment of their farm.
Providing tools for producers to carry them into the growing season and beyond. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
SaskTel has announced it plans to shut down its 3G network next year. SaskTel will shut down 3G on October 1st, 2027. After the shutdown, anyone who has 3G wireless devices will have to replace them as they will no longer work on the network. SaskTel and its discount affiliate Loom Mobile will be transitioning anyone still using 3G and other affected systems for voice calling on certain devices. 4G, also known as LTE, and 5G devices are unaffected. SaskTel says 3G devices and network equipment is getting harder to find and more expensive to repair, and other Canadian service providers have already begun shutting down their 3G networks. A century of memories and a lifetime of service. Family and friends gathered in Lanigan last weekend to celebrate a beloved community builder as she marked a milestone very few reach. Carla Shinkrick has the story.
Family, friends, and neighbors filled a hall in the small town of Lanigan for a big celebration, marking longtime resident Blondie Siegel's 100th birthday.
I think it's wonderful that they appreciate all I've done and awarded me with this tea party.
Born Mildred Siegel, she was known as Blondie since she was 17, working at the airport canteen in Prince Albert during the war. She married Herb Siegel at 19, saying he was the best dancer in town. The couple shared their love of dancing, teaching local students how to dance. Herb passed away in 2000, but Blondie still lives independently in their Lanigan home.
She's done so much with her life, and she's always put others first. She's an inspiration.
Giving back has always defined Siegel. She helped establish the town's hospital, a Lutheran church, and the town's kindergarten, all while raising 5 girls. So what's her secret?
Always been busy, busy, busy. It was always such a busy volunteer.
Her dedication earned her the Lieutenant Governor's Volunteer Medal in 2002, recognizing her decades of trailblazing.
She doesn't do it because she's told to do it. She's doing it because she really genuinely cares about other people. And she genuinely cares about, what goes on in her community.
Now surrounded by children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and even great-great-grandchildren, she continues to inspire, still crocheting, gardening, baking, and even keeping up with technology using a computer and cell phone.
Always being able to see how strong and amazing she is has inspired me to continue to be that strong person.
Blondie Siegel's celebration was more than a birthday. It was a tribute to a century of service, purpose, and community spirit. Carla Shinkrick, CTV News, Lanigan.
Still to come, we check in with Team Canada on their progress today at the Winter Olympics. Also, the latest threat from Donald Trump, why it's not bridging the gap between Canada and the U.S. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Now to the latest threats from Donald Trump. The U.S. president wants to block the opening of a major trade corridor between Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, Michigan, unless the U.S. is fully compensated. The bridge is publicly owned by Canada and the state of Michigan. Michael Couture on the bridge battle.
Canada, of course, paid for the construction of the bridge, over $4 billion.
Prime Minister Carney said he laid out that fact to President Trump in an early morning call that he described as positive. He also cleared up Trump's misconception about the construction of the span.
Obviously, there's Canadian steel, Canadian workers, but also U.S. steel, U.S. workers that are involved. This is a great example of cooperation between our countries.
Ownership of the bridge is clearly spelled out according to the 2017 agreement. The crossing will be publicly owned jointly by Canada and Michigan. Yet Trump's officials insist there are issues.
There's a question as to the proceeds of tolls, et cetera, and so there's going to be a negotiation on that front into how that bridge should be treated if it's going to be going into the U.S.
According to the agreement, Canada will collect tolls until it recoups the costs related to construction. After that, they're split between Canada and Michigan. One former ambassador says there's a reason the president gets things so wrong.
You've got a bunch of crackpot advisors in the White House who misinform the president, who already likes to have tantrums and lash out and try to get leverage or extort things.
In Trump's online tirade, he also took aim at the Ontario ban on American alcohol, which the premier says won't change.
It's obviously working. It's an irritant. But there's one thing President Trump can do: get rid of Canadian tariffs.
Now, it's unclear if tariffs were discussed on the call, but Prime Minister Carney did say the president asked his ambassador to Canada and Michigan native Pete Hoekstra to continue the conversation and bridge the apparent gap. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada's 3 major airlines have all canceled flights to Cuba as the island nation deals with a critical fuel shortage. Now empty planes are heading to Cuba to bring travelers back home. CTV's Rahim Ladhani has the latest.
For some Canadians in Cuba, their vacations are being cut short, now waiting to get back home.
A smooth trip down here has turned into a sort of disruptive return. So we're just going to enjoy the weather.
Steve Chapman flew to Veradero over the weekend and wasn't scheduled to fly back to Ottawa until the end of the month. But WestJet sent him an email overnight saying his flight home has been canceled.
We spoke to a person on the ground here, the tour operator, and she said that we just need to wait for an email from WestJet saying when we will be on our way home.
WestJet, Air Transat and Air Canada are all winding down operations to the island country, which is experiencing its worst economic crisis in nearly 70 years. The country is struggling amid a lack of access to Venezuelan crude oil following U.S. action in that country. This has prompted major airlines to fly empty planes with extra fuel to bring travelers back.
That's why this is going to roll over the next, 5-10 days and bring people back as they were normally scheduled to when they left. And the idea of that is it gives people a chance to enjoy their time down there.
At Terminal 3 inside Toronto's Pearson International Airport, some travelers are beginning to arrive from Cuba.
Our resort was good, the food was fine. We had little hot water, but that was fine. And
no power outages.
No power outages or anything like that.
On our resort we didn't, but there was a whole bunch of people's resorts who got shut down due to the oil crisis.
It's not easy for the Cubans, but for the tourists we have no problems whatsoever, to be honest with you. And I'm really sad that they've canceled all the flights.
Cuba's economy could suffer even further as airlines announce they're halting service until at least the end of April. Those who have flights booked will likely be reimbursed, but not necessarily for all expenses.
What about the non-refundable cost of the airfare, the vacation, the tours, all that? Unfortunately, if cancellation or interruption insurance was not purchased or it can't be purchased as of today, they don't have a lot of holdout for any hope of getting any of their monies back.
Some hotels have been closed and guests relocated as the Cuban government tries to save on resources.
The FBI has released surveillance video and images of a masked person at the home of NBC Today's show host Savannah Guthrie's mother the night she disappeared. The images that were previously inaccessible show a person on the porch of the Tucson area house on the morning Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped about 10 days ago. The person was wearing a face mask, gloves, a backpack, and what is thought to be a gun holster. It looks like the individual tried to block the front doorbell camera with foliage gathered nearby, then appeared to damage it. At least 2 ransom notes were delivered initially to news media. The family said it will pay and believes Nancy Guthrie is still alive. Health Canada has announced a recall of some blood pressure medication. It says 2 lots of MAR amlodipine 5 milligram tablets are being recalled as some bottles may contain the wrong drug. The medication is often used to treat high blood pressure and chest pain. Health Canada says the manufacturer inadvertently put medication to treat low blood pressure in some of the bottles. The correct tablets have 8 sides and are white to off-white in color and have the numbers 210 and 5 printed on them. Health Canada says if you have round tablets in your bottle, return it to your pharmacy for replacement. A mix of highs and lows for Team Canada on what is officially day 4 of the Olympic schedule, but Canadian athletes have added to our nation's medal count. Scott Hurst reports.
Down and out. Captain of the Canadian women's hockey team, Marie-Philippe Poulin, did not play against the Americans on Tuesday. She's listed as day-to-day with a lower body injury after taking a hit into the boards during Canada's win over Czechia Monday night.
Losing her is obviously a big one because the United States have been the better team internationally over the last couple of years.
And the United States proved to be too strong on this day, beating Canada to remain undefeated in the preliminary round of the women's hockey tournament. Staying on the ice, Canada is back on the podium, this time in short track speed skating, a silver medal in the mixed relay event.
So close to the podium in Beijing, so it kind of feels special just coming back here and just getting ourselves on the podium.
A shared moment of joy for Kim Boutin, Courtney Sarreau, William Dangenou, and Felix Roussel. Florence Brunel and Stephen Dubois also getting medals for skating in the earlier rounds. Figure skater Stephen Gogolev with a strong performance in the men's singles short program with a score of 87.41, setting himself up for the free skate on Friday. So far, so good for opening ceremony flag bearer Mikhail Kingsbury, 3rd in moguls qualification, just behind his teammate, Quebec City's Julien Viel. Both are moving on to the finals. And making its Olympic debut, women's alpine team combined. One skier tackling the downhill speed event, the other racing the more technical slalom course. Canadians Valérie Grenier and Laurence Saint-Germain finishing 13th. So the medal count now stands at 3, 1 silver and 2 bronze, with more athletes in the mix for medals tomorrow, including in the ice dance final. 3 Canadian pairs, led by Piper Giles and Paul Poirier, 3rd heading into the final event. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Meanwhile, a great start to the women's freestyle skiing moguls event for Saskatoon's Maya Schwinghammer. In today's first qualification run, Schwinghammer finished in 6th place, scoring a 74.9. The top 10 athletes qualify for the final tomorrow. So far, Schwinghammer is one of 2 Canadians sitting in the top 10. Meanwhile, Olympic medals are breaking, and officials don't know why. A German biathlete was one of several competitors who say their medal broke during celebrations. Game officials say they are aware of the issue and are now investigating. Reuters is reporting medals are by law required to have breakaway mechanisms. It's designed to release if pulled with force to prevent possible choking. Hopefully they get that sorted out and fixed.
So it's not like the medals themselves are falling and shattering.
I don't think so.
They're coming off the ribbon.
Yeah, design what they're supposed to do, I suppose, but we'll see.
What a crisis.
I don't know. Maybe your forecast is medal winning a little bit. It has been.
Yeah, exactly. What's below bronze? Anyhow, aluminium. We've got ourselves, actually, I shouldn't complain, and none of us should, but we've got ourselves mild conditions again as we roll into the next few days and into Valentine's weekend. And then things start to cool off next week. And even then, when it does cool off, we're looking at seasonal temperatures. -2 degrees right now in Saskatoon, -8 in Prince Albert, -6 in the Battlefords. And as you can see, a little breezier in Saskatoon and the Battlefords than it is in Prince Albert at the moment. The almanac for Saskatoon. So today's daytime high is 0 degrees. That is 9 degrees above seasonal. Nowhere near the record, though. That was 5. That was set back in 1918, so it's a long-standing record. -41, the record temperature from 1939. The sun came up at 8:32, and it went down at 6:11.
Coming up, when the worlds of robots and art collide, a look at a unique experience of creativity.
Attention hockey fanatics, Crave TV has a new offering for you. Wednesday on your morning, Canadian comedy legend Dave Foley on his new series exploring fandom of NHL teams.
All right, Dave Foley, not bad at all. Well, what's not bad? Well, if you're scared of Stephen King-like fog, I don't know if that's the kind, but we do have some fog rolling in as we take a look towards the southwest. And yes, fog is starting to move in. We did anticipate some fog in the forecast. It's just showing up a whole lot earlier than we had anticipated, so we'll keep our eye on that. Keeping our eye on that warm Pacific air, at least as best we can with the technology we have. We do expect to see a little rain moving down the west coast eventually. It's not going to be a slow process, and as you can certainly see, there's a lot of rain impacting parts of California right now. Across the prairie provinces, we're still dealing with some warm Pacific air that keeping us in that mild zone. So still pretty mild in Saskatoon, -2 degrees right now, -8 in Prince Albert, -6 in the Battlefords. The hot spot in the province, that was Maple Creek at 8 degrees. Uranium City, the cold spot at -24. Around the province we go, starting off the larger communities. We'll start off with Lloydminster, where it's -1 degree. It's 3 in Swift Current, Moose Jaw and Regina both in at 1 degree. -7 in Yorkton, 2 on the plus side for Estevan. Into central parts of the province, temperatures range from 1 degree, and that's in Kindersley and Rosetown, down to -9 in Nipawin and Hudson's Bay. You can certainly see -4, though, in Watrous and Wynyard, -8 up in Meadow Lake, -7 in Waskesiu and Melfort. Up north, temperatures are cooler, but they're not super cold. -13 degrees right now in Stony Rapids and Key Lake and South End and Island Falls. It warms up to -7 in Buffalo Narrows. Down south, it's 6 degrees, so still quite warm in Maple Creek, 4 in Leader, 2 in East End and Coronach and Carlisle and Weyburn, -2 in Indian Head, -7 in Melville. On to our futurecast. Well, here's what I'm talking about in terms of active weather, and there's not much. A little bit of something sliding through parts of northern Saskatchewan tonight, and then you can see these pressure lines fairly far apart, and so we're not anticipating a windy day. They're a little closer together up north, but certainly central and southern parts of Saskatchewan are expecting a fairly calm day when it comes to the wind. So cloudy skies for northern Saskatchewan tomorrow, -1 in La Ronge, -6 in Stony Rapids, 1 in Buffalo Narrows, -3 for Key Lake, 1 on the plus side for Meadow Lake, 1 on the minus side for Spiritwood, 4 in Kindersley, Rosetown at 2 degrees. But look at this, 7 degrees for Maple Creek. We've got Leader at 4, 2 in Outlook, 5 in Swift Current. Lots of sunshine in much of the southwest. Southeastern Saskatchewan, expecting some fog in the Yorkton area, -2 degrees, but 2 on the plus side for Regina. Moose Jaw and Estevan both in at 5 degrees with mainly cloudy skies in those community, mainly cloudy and -3 in Melfort and in Humboldt, expecting some fog to go along with that. A similar sky situation for Watrous at -1, Hudson Bay -1 as well, but with mainly cloudy skies. The Battleford's dropping down to -9 degrees tonight with partly cloudy skies. Cloudy tomorrow. We're expecting some fog in the morning, so it might be showing up in the Battleford's region a little earlier as well. 2 on the plus side for Thursday, Friday 1 degree, 1 as well on Valentine's Day under mainly cloudy skies, -2 on Monday, or on Sunday, -6 on Monday, and Tuesday, -10 degrees. We've got ourselves an overnight temperature of -10 for the Prince Albert region, -4 tomorrow, and then possibility of some fog there in the morning, but then mainly cloudy skies in the afternoon. 1 on the plus side for Thursday, cloudy on Friday, and 2 cloudy as well on Valentine's Day, -1, -3 on Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday, as was the case with the Battlefords, a slight chance of flurries, and temperatures temperatures dropping down to below seasonal values by Tuesday. Saskatoon's overnight temperature -9 degrees, -2 with cloudy and foggy conditions. So we might see that fog. We are seeing that fog earlier than we had anticipated. 2 on Thursday, Friday, 1-0 on Valentine's Day, -1 on Sunday, and -3 to start the work week for some people, not everybody, and -9 on Tuesday. So just barely on the seasonal side of things for Saskatoon 1 week from today. A blast from the past. There you go. The Calgary Stampede is bringing in one of Canada's biggest stars from the 1990s. Alanis Morissette will play at the Saddle Dome Saturday, July 11th. Born and raised in Ottawa, Morissette is best known for her 1995 album, Jagged Little Pill. It sold more than 33 million copies and earned her 5 Grammy Awards.
Everybody knows. This place like a fishbowl. That guy knows. He doesn't know. Excuse me. You know that my husband left me for a grad student, right?
Yes. Steve Carell is starring in a new comedy series. Rooster is about an author's bond with his daughter and is set on a college campus. The 10-episode season begins streaming March the 8th on HBO.
I understand that you think I'm the right person for this mission. I understand the stakes.
Object.
Ryan Gosling will be back on the silver screen next month. He's starring in Project Hail Mary. The story follows a science teacher who wakes up alone on a spaceship light years from Earth. He then uncovers a mission to stop a mysterious substance killing the sun. It hits theaters March 20th.
All right, Jeff, you were on campus checking out a new play today, I hear.
That's right. It's an Irish classic, and it's almost opening night.
Tell him, then.
Tell him what?
About the dance.
Moira says there'll be a dance tomorrow night.
Yes? May I call it? Would anybody object if I came?
What's he saying?
Who would object?
Did you tell him?
Sorry.
This play has been around since, I believe, 1980, but Auckland, generally speaking, in broad strokes, what's the play about?
It's a play about language, first and foremost, and set in 1833 when the British Empire was coming over and sort of just taking place names and standardizing them across the board. And so you have a group of people that sort of similar to parallels to Saskatchewan and Canada as a whole that are down to earth, you know, common folk and an empire coming in and sort of just flexing their power and changing things. So it explores themes surrounding that and what that's like for people who don't speak English, things like that.
Well, and what's interesting too about this play, there's a bit of a conceit when it comes to the language of this play in terms of what we hear on stage. Kai?
Yeah, it's interesting. As Auckland was saying, we have the Irish speakers as well as the English speakers, but the whole play has been written in English. I think it just makes it easier to be broadcast to a wider audience. You know, you don't have to have Irish native speakers to understand what's going on, yet the story is still clear of who can understand each other and who can't.
Once again, Translations is taking place here at the University of Saskatchewan. I believe it runs until the 14th. Is that when it runs until?
Yes, that is correct. And there's a matinee on Thursday as well.
There you go. At noon, I believe. Noon o'clock? Noon o'clock? Noon o'clock. There you go. Yes, there's a matinee, so if you can't get to an evening performance, I believe curtain goes up at 7:30 nightly when it opens on the 11th. Thank you both for letting us interrupt your rehearsal here. Break a leg with the show, and thanks again.
How are you doing, Skipper? Thank you for, I'm grateful to you.
You're wasting our time. I don't know a word you're saying.
All right, Jeff, time for pick of the day. What did you select?
Well, we have a lovely selection here. We're going to start off with this one, and this one comes to us from Marion. She doesn't tell us much, except it's from Battleford. Well, she's from Battleford, but as you can see, it's a lovely shot. It reminds me sort of, it's Spielbergian. I love the way that light is landing there. So thank you, Marion, for sharing that image with us. The next one comes to us from Jackie. Again, not a lot of description, but we probably don't need much. Jackie simply says near Borden, and that's where those deer are having a feast. And finally, from Greg Gilroy, Greg writes, "Hi, Jeff. Our Red Lab Rio enjoying the mild weather on the Bradwell Reservoir east of Saskatoon. Keep those warm days flowing, Jeff." Well, I don't have anything to do with that, Greg, but it looks as though those mild days are going to be sticking around. It looks like Rio is having a great time there. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. And please put pick of the day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, a new artistic offering, why some Canadian researchers are enlisting robots. And the arts don't often collide, but at the University of Waterloo, researchers are translating music into colored light through the motion of robots. CTV's Spencer Turcott finds out how.
Turning them on and they will connect to.
They may not look like it, but this row of robots is capable of creating artistic masterpieces. Once their lights turn on, the lights in the room go off and they're ready to work.
The two arts that we are interested in connecting are really painting, visual arts, and music, performing arts.
University of Waterloo researchers have developed a system in which a swarm of robots listen to music and translate it into moving light trails.
These emotions are going to be mapped onto the canvas to places and times where they should release paint.
The robots move within a fixed area on the floor, or kind of like a canvas, and their movements are in response to the music they hear, including tempo and chord progression.
We work with the multi-robot systems, so that naturally, right, asks the question: how do we coordinate them? How we make them not run into each other?
They developed an algorithm to control up to 12 robots, but it can be scaled to handle any number. Technology was then created to extract and analyze musical features that express emotion.
Related to sadness, like the dark blue and this kind of violet.
Beyond the visual impact, the work explores how an artist may be able to interact with robots while they're painting.
The big picture is to get a sense from the artists, from the painters, on whether this could be an aid to paint.
Now the researchers plan to host an art exhibition where you may be able to get one of these unique robot-created paintings.
When we saw what the robots did, then we say, oh, this looks like Monet. Okay, we were maybe a little bit too excited.
But the excitement is warranted when you consider the unlikely pairing of engineering and the arts. Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
When we come back, we meet a Saskatchewan stuntman who specializes in working with horses. And later, the bright ball of light seen in the sky.
Welcome back. Time for the rural forecast. We'll check in with some of the communities in and around Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and the Battlefords. As you can see, 1 degree for Meadow Lake tomorrow, -1 for Spiritwood, 1 on the plus side for Lloydminster, 4 in Kindersley, 2 in Outlook. As we take a look and see what's going on in Hudson Bay, -1 degree, the same for Wynyard. Wynyard, maybe a bit of this fog that sort of seems to be moving in right now. We'll make our way down south, and as you can see, we've got ourselves some pretty warm temperatures. And not only that, we've got lots of sunshine in the southwest and along the international border. And yeah, so there's lots of warm temperatures still in our forecast, and even -4 in Kenora. That's not exactly cold. Let's take a look at what's going on in Big River. I can tell you what's going on in Big River. This Saturday, there's a big snowmobile rally going on. Pancake breakfast ahead of time, registration between 9 and noon. So lots of stuff happening in Big River. And for tomorrow, we've got ourselves partly cloudy skies, or mainly cloudy conditions. -1 degree, winds out of the southwest 15, so a pretty pleasant day there in Big River. And remember, Big River is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Greetings, everyone. Computer programs and special screens have made movie stunts safer by removing real-life dangers and creating a controlled environment. But stuntmen are still needed. We spoke with a First Nation stuntman who specializes in horses and is looking to continue making a name for himself in movies and TV. Being an equestrian stunt rider requires athleticism and precision mixed with expert horsemanship. For the past decade, North Star Stonechild has taken his love of horse riding to a global audience, making appearances in blockbuster movies and TV shows. He has a deep connection with the animal that has given him so much.
At this point in time, of my life and where I'm at with horses, it's just like horses in general. As soon as I see a horse, it's really great it's just, really uplifting. And so being able to kind of really connect with that.
Stonechild has been riding horses for over 20 years. The Yellow Quill First Nations member credits his uncle for teaching him and giving him an outlet at a significant time in his life. He says his jump into movies was simply being at the right place at the right time. Stonechild's work has taken him across the sea, allowing him to meet and work with some of the world's biggest stars, including Leonardo DiCaprio. But he says one of his most special moments was meeting an equine from Warhorse, one of his favorite movies.
He was really crabby. I remember I was trying to pet his neck and he just nipped at me. I kind of looked at him. I was kind of like, hey, I want to ride this horse. In my head right away. And then, so they're like, hey, pick your horses. So I immediately picked him. And then, shortly after I find out that he was he was one of the horses that, I loved watching in a movie.
Stonechild is studying acting as well as getting behind the camera in his free time. And as spring approaches, he is preparing to step into the teaching role, passing along his skills to new writers.
Being able to be a facilitator now at this point in my life is really a blessing in disguise, because now I'm able to kind of open up the world to other individuals, to how important, how amazing horses they really are.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is $1.25 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.14.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco dropped $3.54 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $96.36. Coming up, the marathon that really heats things up. And the fire frenzy that was captured on cameras across Alberta.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here tonight at 7, starting with Will Trent. Well, a spectacular sight in the sky in parts of Alberta before dawn this morning. Tyler Gilby caught this fireball on his dash cam on his way to work just before 6:30 north of Calgary. Another person capturing the sight from his backyard security camera, this one in Edmonton. Several other people from central Alberta say they also spotted the fireball. It's the second day in a row people say they've witnessed the event. There are no reports of anything hitting the ground that we know of.
As far as we know. Dun, dun, dun,
well,
dun.
Stay tuned. You never know what people report. Well, another kind of sporting event took place in Estonia over the weekend. Hundreds of people came out for the annual European Sauna Marathon. It turns the traditional Nordic pastime into a competition with a carnival-like atmosphere. The goal is for teams of 4 to race to as many local saunas in the fastest time. There were 21 different saunas, and participants had to spend at least 3 minutes inside each one of them.
You see, this beats the heck out of a polar plunge, if you ask me. This is what I could live with, yeah.
So 3 minutes, though, and then on to the next. Whatever works, right?
Exactly.
Looks like they're having fun.
I think so. It looks pretty cool. Hey, I just wanted to remind people there are some road closures in Saskatoon tomorrow. We have Victoria Avenue closed from 8th Street to 6th Street, and then Avenue W North from 23rd to Rusholme Road. That's for tree maintenance. So they're going to be chopping some trees and grinding up trees and tree good times. So we've got ourselves a mild day for tree grinding good times. Look at that, -3 late in the afternoon, mid-afternoon around -1. So a pretty mild day again.
That could be like a new festival for Saskatoon.
The tree grinding?
Good times.
Or the tree grinding good times. Come on down. We're raising money for a good cause. Come on.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.